video. Why can't I get that? No, I'm gonna redo that. Hey everyone, Krissy here with 2 Sheep, 1 Wheat, and today's video I have an overview and a review for you on Chronicles of Crime 1900. Let's get to it. So I did want to say a big thank you to Lucky Duck Games who did supply this game for me to review for you guys. So I'll go through a couple of things in this game, and because it is through an app and I don't want to ruin anything for anybody, I won't go into too much details with this game. But I will go into what is in the box. So you do get the rule book, and it goes through everything on how to set it up and when to start on the app. So it does come with an evidence board, which is so cute because it looks like a briefcase. These are all the slots for your evidence. And then you actually have a spot down here too, and this is for any people that you discover that may not be anywhere yet because you haven't discovered it. So you do get these location cards here. They are double-sided. There's a whole bunch of them in a bunch of different places, different locations. Now, whenever you get to this spot in the box, they are puzzle cards, and in the app, it will tell you when you can look at these, and they're usually just different puzzle pieces for the game, like evidence that you may not have found yet or you wouldn't have even have known about. Now you have the character cards. I'll show you some of these. All just different characters. Obviously means nothing to you unless you scan the cards, and depending on which scenario that you're in the app. So these, depending on where they are, is where you would place them in the locations. So those are character cards. Now you come into we'll go into the special cards here, and this is with the star. These ones are also, I'll show you one. So this would just be a person of interest that we don't know who it is yet. So they're basically evidence cards too that you can place on the board. Now these are actual evidence cards, and you can look at these, all of them, throughout the game. You don't need to have them flipped over. The app is not going to tell you which ones that you need. Sometimes, I guess. But you're mostly looking through on the app. You can look through a room and you can find evidence. And then you're able to scan them and figure out if they actually do belong with that room in that scenario, and you can place them on the board. So that is basically what comes in the box and how it plays. You're in the app. There is 1400, 1900, and 2400 that will be coming soon. And I have not played 1400. This is the first one that I have played, 1900. And I will say that it was quite fun. I have never played a game like this before. So I will go over kind of how the app works and what you're doing, what your role is, and everything like that. So once you open up the app, you finish the tutorial, you go on to the first scenario. So you are basically a journalist. You work at a newspaper office. You will have a boss, and the secretary will most likely be there all the time. We have done the first and second scenario, and they have been there as well, and which would be the character cards that you would place over top. So what you're doing as the journalist, obviously, is trying to write a paper that's going to make the news the next day. Now, there's a series of crimes that go on, and mysteries and murders that you are trying to solve. Now, you go on to location and location, and you're trying to talk to people and collect evidence and trying to solve it. And then going and talking to different people, searching different locations, coming across different evidence cards, and you're scanning all of those, and you're trying to figure out who was murdered or what crime was committed and who did it. And the app definitely helps you throughout that whole process. Everything is written out for you. You can read through everything, all the scenarios and everything. There are rooms that you can physically get up and move around and search for, and that is where you're trying to find those evidence. You're trying to search through all the rooms, trying to pick out everything that you can to make sure that you are picking out the right ones. Now, once everything is scanned, the app will tell you if they were correct for evidence or if they are not. And then you would just simply place them aside and start all over again. Now, once you have enough evidence and you think you know who did it, you can go back and talk to a police officer, and they will ask you a series of questions in the app. And if you get it wrong, they'll tell you to go back out there and try harder. And then if you do get all of the answers correct, you have won that series. You figured out the crime, your paper gets published, and your boss is very, very happy with you. Now, once I did get through the first scenario, I wanted to go on to the second one right away, and that is exactly what we did. We moved on to the second scenario, and things got a little heated. It was actually a little bit confusing at the beginning, but once you got through the tutorial, it was pretty easy to get through. Obviously, some of the quizzes, the puzzle pieces and everything, it took a little bit for everything to click and realize who was the murderer or whoever the person was that you were looking for. So you're also helping to solve crime, but you're also getting that paper written for your boss so that you don't lose your job. So I really enjoyed the game. It was definitely stressful at some points because you have a deadline of midnight, and if you don't get that deadline, then you lose points. And all of your scores are based out of 100, and if you pass, obviously, then you get a pretty good grade in the game. Now, like I said, in the app, there is 1400, 1900, and eventually 2400. This is the first one that I have played. I have really enjoyed it. Might even go out and get 1400, and we'll see about 2400 when that comes out. I waited until my husband came home. This has been sitting on my shelf for a couple of days, maybe even like a week and a half, just trying to get this to play with him because he also wanted to play with me. We both really enjoyed it. Now, the only thing that I would say is that I wish that there was an option in the app that it would be read to you instead of one person reading it. And I mean, it did make for a good group effort. Some person reading while the other person is trying to collect all that evidence that you're reading off and the people and getting the locations and everything like that. So it did make for a good teamwork, but I did wish that there was an option for the app to read everything for you. But other than that, I really enjoyed how everything tied in very well together. I'm excited to get that third one done and just to see what kind of crimes we can solve then. So anyway, I hope that I did not spoil any surprises for you because I would hate to do that because this game was really fun. Definitely not what I was expecting and in a good way. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I will catch you guys next time. Wait, what? What is happening? What is happening? I don't understand this.